to go see Nope and VIP. It's like really strange, but in a good way. It's called Cineplex Cinemas Varsity, and
Okay.
it's near Bloor Young Station in downtown. And instead of like the huge screens, it's more like a home cinema type feel.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
didn't even know they had those things. They're kind of cool, actually. I didn't
Okay.
mind it. Yeah, so if you ever get the chance, I would say maybe try a movie out there. It's not too bad, you know. It's a
Interesting.
bit more intimate.
That's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
definitely is pretty cool. But anyways,
Well,
yeah, let's
with
do
that in
this.
mind, welcome back, everyone, to Dead Film Critics Society podcast. I'm here with my lovely co-host, as always, in billing, and I am Danieling, the reviewer sometimes of the reviewing channel which I run myself. And we are here to talk about Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. His newest movie starring Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, and Steven Yeun. But before we go into that, Aiden, I think you got some news for us, yeah?
Yes. So the big one of the day is I just saw this from Fandom. Thank you, Fandom, as always. You guys give me some great news. Batgirl has apparently been shelved at Warner Brothers, and I'm not quite sure why, because it had a release date for a while, or at least a release year. I think it was planning to be released next year, and it's just been shelved for no reason. $90 million movie with a huge cast assembled. It's just been shelved with no plans of releasing it, even to HBO Max, which I think is crazy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know, that's weird, but honestly, it's not the most unexpected thing, if I'm being honest, considering how much
DC's
of
track
a,
record?
yeah, with DC and Warner Brothers, just absolute fuckery that has gone
Yeah,
down
they
within
already
trying to
like in
create
mess right now.
actually the entire circus down there right now with
You,
those
you know what? I don't even think
executives.
it's a circus. Yeah, it's just getting sad at this point. You know what it's like? It's like watching an alcoholic former boxer try and relive his glory days, and they just cannot seem to make it work no matter what they do. Just mistake after mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's fucking
Like,
nuts.
maybe they land one or two drunken punches with, like, I don't know. Like, I enjoyed the Suicide Squad. The
Yeah,
Batman
the
was
Suicide Squad was good,
enjoyable
yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Shazam's fine. At least I haven't seen
But
it.
but in terms of their
But
shared universe,
they've
it's in
had
shambles right
a
now.
lot of misses. Wonder Woman's good. Like,
Wonder Woman 2 is not so much,
not so
except for
much,
Pedro
yeah.
Pascal.
Yeah,
Pedro
so,
Pascal
like,
was fine, though.
super inconsistent. Like, you just, I don't know, just going to the movies on the DC Comics website is like, I mean, they have the Batman, obviously, but that's not even, like, the newest thing that they have going on. I don't know. It literally says
Yeah.
no results when it says browse movies. When you
Their
say,
website's not even working. That's kind of sad.
okay, never mind. I think I was just on the wrong thing, maybe, but that was just kind of weird. It shows just
That
all
is
the
pretty
stuff
weird.
that's like in the DC. It's like Birds of Prey. I guess they have Joker. I don't know. The Kitchen was based on a DC comic.
It was?
This, yeah, I guess it's listed here. I don't know.
That's a bit lame.
I mean, they had DC League of Super Pets, which no one saw.
I heard that's. I mean, some people
Really.
saw it.
Some- well-
I heard it's okay. You know, I'm not
I
saying
mean-
I'm not trying to defend it, but you know what I mean. Like maybe it'll be alright.
Maybe, I don't know.
If my dog wants to go see a movie, I'll take
Yeah.
her to that. So
Yeah. I don't know. It's not unexpected for Warner Brothers. It's just
That is for
I
sure.
don't know if there's anything to be said. It's just what they're doing with DC is just
Sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
The brothers Warner are in disarray right now.
Yeah, in that
Yeah.
regard. for
Anyways,
sure.
I on a more strange piece of news, Jake Gyllenhaal, again from Fandom. Thank you, Fandom. I don't want people to think I'm just copying everything, but this is literally how I get most of my movie news. But I saw this today. Jake Gyllenhaal is going to star in a remake of the movie Roadhouse from the 1980s. But that one had Patrick Swayze. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but
No.
it's pretty dumb, but it's
Okay.
fun dumb, I guess. And you know, it inspired
Right.
Peter Griffin from Family Guy to do a bunch of kicking around Quahog, which I guess is fine. But I don't know, maybe it'll be interesting, but probably not for being
Right.
realistic here. It's not their best source material.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Now back to Warner Brothers for a second. I have a piece of news regarding the CW's Flash, and it's apparently going to end next year in 2023 with a
Yeah.
13 episode penultimate season, which I think is I think that's smart. You know, the Flash was probably the best CW DC show. I mean, I kind of lost interest,
Probably.
if I'm being honest, after a while. It just got too
Yeah.
convoluted, and I wasn't really interested in watching every single Crisis episode, you know, or maybe just watching the other TV shows to get some background knowledge. But
Yeah.
it all started to become pretty cookie cutter after a while, and I wasn't really there for it.
Yeah.
So I think I stopped watching around season 5. Yeah,
Let me see
season 5.
when is it still on Netflix? Let me see what Netflix tells me.
No,
about
I'm
Flash.
pretty sure it's still in.
Let me see what Netflix has me recorded to watching up to, because I know I'm confident I saw the first 3 seasons. After that, I'm not.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, according to this account, I haven't watched any of them, so this might not be correct at all.
Oh, okay. Maybe you watched it on a different account.
Perhaps. Regardless. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really care about the show anymore at this point.
Yeah.
And it's also releasing like a few weeks before the planned release of the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, which is still, they're not sure exactly what to do with it, just because of all the stupidness that Ezra Miller's been involved in. So
stupidness. Yeah, that's one way to put it. That's for sure.
That is almost the nicest way to say that, frankly.
I mean, the man is they are a straight up supervillain at this point. It's kind of fucking terrible what they're doing. Horrible person. Yeah. You know, I know what I said last week about not giving a shit about respecting their pronouns, but I'm starting to think maybe that's not the best approach to take. You know, I mean, they're a horrible person, but I guess maybe it's take the high road or whatever bullshit you want to go with. But I mean, yeah. Still though, I hope they're caught soon, because as much as I like this ongoing saga of craziness, I would prefer that child be returned to her parents. To be honest, not great stuff.
Yeah,
but
it's not great.
Anyways. Speaking of not great stuff, Star Trek legend Nichelle Nichols recently died. She was 89 years old.
Yep.
She played Noida Uhura in the original run of the TV series. She was apparently a trailblazer. I don't know much about her because I haven't watched the original series, but from what I read, she was like one of the more prominent black main characters on a TV show at the time, because that show came out in '66, right? So she paved the way for a lot of other amazing and talented actresses to find their way in Hollywood. So you know, kudos to her. It's a shame she's gone, but she's lived a very good life, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And one more piece of news for me, and then you can say whatever you gotta say. All right?
Yeah.
It's just So this is the last big one. So we got another trailer for Andor today, which is the Disney Plus series, and people are saying it looks better than Obi-Wan. It looks more cinematic, and I'd have to agree. I think it looks fantastic, and I'm actually more excited for it now than I was with the first trailer. The first trailer was pretty good, but yeah, this one it literally looks like it's gonna look like a movie for the entire run, which I'm down for. It's what the Disney Plus series should look like.
Yeah.
But they haven't really been looking like that because they've been rushed out too much. And it's nice to see that they're taking their time with this one.
Yeah. Andor is a very interesting crew behind it, right? From what I've seen. Obviously, it has, Diego Luna as an executive producer, along with Tony Gilroy. But then it has Dan Gilroy, who wrote Nightcrawler on the writing team. It has Benjamin Caron, a director who's worked on The Crown and Sherlock. It's got Toby Haynes, who's worked on Sherlock, Black Mirror, Doctor Who. So again, pretty prominent TV directors.
No, I mean that's
Susanna White worked on Billions and Jane Eyre and The Boardwalk Empire. Again, pretty prominent TV director. Worked on some good stuff. Also interesting that Beau Willimon, the creator of House of Cards is on the writing team for this.
Which House of Cards? The American or British?
The
version?
American one. The American one.
Okay. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Because you name a lot of British people, I just thought maybe they were following that trend, but
for sure. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, there's a lot of British people working on this movie, but then, and then also Jonathan Freeman, who did the cinematography for some Game of Thrones episodes. So like, a very interesting cast. And I also remember, I think Nicholas Britell has been is working on the music for this. So there's a very talented crew behind it.
Oh yeah, no, that's
definitely is intriguing me with those names. So I think I'm definitely going to at least check. I mean, with both, it's a very interesting combination to see Dan Gilroy, a writer for Nightcrawler and the creator of House of Cards, working on the same show, a Star Wars show, about a character who isn't really that important. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of this, because I think with it being more of a solo, not having to tie into too much canon, I think it will have given them a lot more freedom. Because while it's probably something that they did for money, I'm hoping that they released creative and had fun with it and tried to put their all into it for the time that they were obliged to work on this. So
yeah, I mean,
I'm optimistic for sure. I think I'll definitely be checking it out.
For sure, me too, of course. But yeah, well, what news do you have for us today, sir? I know you're more into the indie news.
Barry season 4, a show that I've been watching a lot, is starting to film, which is cool.
Nice.
That's cool to hear.
I'm quite excited about that. I mean, I've heard it's really good. I'd like to maybe check it out. It's on HBO or something, isn't it?
I don't have HBO. Yeah, it is HBO, yeah. Atlanta season 4 is confirmed to be coming out in September 15th. It will start to come out on FX and stream on Hulu. This will be the final season. Most likely, like Donald Glover, I think, said in the interview, he's not completely closed off to potentially making more of it, but I think there would have to be something seriously driving him to do so, and something that he feels like he is compelled to do with these characters. But apparently, because they filmed seasons 3 and 4 back to back, which explains why they're able to release both in the same year. It'll be interesting to see what they do with that. The Everything Everywhere All at Once directors, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, the Daniels, have signed a 5-year exclusive pact with Universal Pictures, as Universal's kind of been signing exclusive deals, I know, for a couple of prominent directors. I don't know if they signed a multi-year deal with David Fincher signed that one with Netflix at some point, which also his new movie The Killer, which was thought to maybe come out this year, there hasn't been any word about that, so it's probably coming out next year, now that I just think about David Fincher. But yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, but so it'll be interesting. So they're clearly moving on from A24, seeing that they're signing this picture with Universal. But Universal's clearly also wanted to have some of the most unique voices in directing as making their movies that are outside. I mean, they have Jordan Peele. I think they have a similar deal with Jordan Peele, actually. I think he signed a similar deal to the Daniels after Us did well at the box office. And I'm sure they'll continue to, even though Nope hasn't been the biggest success, that they'll continue to work with him. But it's cool to see the Daniels probably being able to have a bigger budget to continue to make some cool films, and I'll definitely be there to see them. It's cool that I love to see the success of something like Everything All at Once, something that stars an Asian cast and also just stars such a wild premise with unique directors. To get this much success, it's really cool to see. Hopefully we'll give them more freedom to make some, hopefully, more successful projects in the future. Bong Joon-ho's next film, which I think is an English film, actually, it's called Mickey 7. Some kind of I don't remember the exact premise. I think it's a sci-fi sort of premise, but it stars Robert Pattinson, Stephen Yeun, Naomi Aki, Mark Ruffalo, and Toni Collette. That's starting to film now, which is very exciting. That's probably going to come out sometime in 2024. That's a Warner Brothers project right now, so they are Warner Brothers is still backing some interesting filmmakers. They have obviously Dune Part 2 with Denis Villeneuve as well.
Yeah.
The New York Film Festival. There's been a lot of film festival announcements for the fall stuff a lot of stuff that are anticipated awards contenders. New York Film Festival released that their opening film will be White Noise by Noah Baumbach with Adam Driver and Greta Gerwig. This is a film that I think people are very mixed on. Apparently the production for this just went kind of out of control, like went way over budget and went way longer than it should have. He was getting that Netflix check, so he was covered. It's not like he got fired or anything, so it wasn't too bad for him. But I think a lot of people are mixed about. I think a lot of people are think this is going to be a wild disaster, or this could be a masterpiece. Who knows? We'll have to see, because it was based on a novel that really apparently doesn't have a very strong plot at all, and was also considered very unfilmable by those who had read it and thought about perspective on what it would do in a movie. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. I think the Daniels are also, speaking of the Daniels as well, they also had another piece of news. They're set to direct a comedy pilot called Mason, which is supposed to be a surrealist comedy. It's for Showtime with Nathan Min, a Asian comedian, start to star and executive produce it, and Steven Yeun will also be an executive producer along with the Daniels. So that would be interesting to see. I don't know if that necessarily means it will definitely at least be like a show, like that we'll actually be able to see the pilot no matter what, because I'm assuming only if the pilot is deemed successful enough to make a show by the executives will we see a full season of it. But with that kind of crew, I'm pretty confident we'll at least get one season ordered. I mean, considering all the stuff that they, fund these days, it's like surely Showtime will back that. And then I guess, the big thing I maybe wanted to go over with you before we get into Nope and Jordan Peele as a filmmaker is a lot of the TIFF and upcoming fall movies. I was thinking we could maybe do another version of our Metacritic battle, our Metacritic predictions of sorts.
Sounds good to me.
Essentially, because obviously there's a lot of films that likely will get a lot of critical acclaim coming up.
We didn't even end up doing the punishment of the last one.
No, we still haven't coordinated that.
Yeah. Fuck, that kind of sucks. I was hoping to get pied in the face. But
Yeah. I mean, we can still do it. Hey, I'll see you at basketball. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it out. Yeah, that's for sure.
I never remember. So, I don't know. I might have to put a reminder on my phone or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I also figured we could maybe even combine it with a potential TV, like add in some TV slots for this one, change it up a little bit, because there's a bunch of interesting TV shows coming out going into this late August and the fall. So I first wanted to go over TIFF movies for you. So I'm just gonna see if I can share my screen with you real quick so I can show you just I picked 15 of the movies. There are some more, these are ones I'm actually trying to, based on, they're kind of in order of which ones I think I want to see the most, based on both how much I'm excited about them, but also how much I think I'll be able to, see them in the theater afterwards, because those I may be able to see afterwards, or maybe I'm just so excited that I want to see them at TIFF anyways. But some of these I would definitely want to, because I know they may not get a wide release. I may not be able to see them in the theater for sure. But here's the list. So the first one is The Son, directed by Florian Zeller. He was the guy who won an Oscar for The Father. Also got Anthony Hopkins an Oscar in the 2021 awards. Did you end up seeing that? Or no, I don't think you ended up.
I didn't end up seeing that. I don't know. I kind of wasn't happy that they were gearing up that whole award show for Chadwick to win. They didn't win. So
Yeah.
Not
that movie's fault at all. I personally was a little bit of a downer on this movie. This movie was given 8s, 9s, and 10s by everyone. I only gave it a 7. And I don't know if but I'm still quite excited for this movie. I think it'll be more interesting. I think we'll have a little more depth, because from my perspective, The Father was just a pretty accurate telling of a man with dementia, and that was it, which had been done before. And while it was very excellently done, it was like nothing too special in my opinion. I thought Anthony Hopkins was great, but and some of the dialogue is biting. But I'm looking forward to The Son. The premise is that here, let me pull up the TIFF premise, just because I like to look at that. I should just bring up the premise for all these movies, but from what I remember, it is about the events of a family who are going through it just overviews a family as they're dealing with their son who's going through their like teenage son who's going through a mental health struggle. Hugh Jackman's playing the father. I think Laura Dern is playing the
Mom.
the maternal mom, and then Vanessa Kirby's playing the stepmom of the son, and the son is being played by Zen McGrath, which I looked at his Instagram. The guy literally, I think you might have more followers than him, Aiden. He only has like 650 followers right now. That might change, obviously, after his movie goes to TIFF.
I think it might, yeah.
But right now, I don't know. He just seems like a pretty normal kid. Clearly, though, I mean, if you're getting selected by Florian Zeller to act alongside Hugh Jackman, Laura Dern,
did something right, that's for sure.
Anthony Hopkins, you're clearly a pretty talented kid. But it was just cool to see that, the fame has, he's kind of... I like that casting choice to, like, pick someone who's kind of probably a little bit of an unknown, probably hasn't done too much movie work, but...
No, those are always good, I think.
Anthony Hopkins will also apparently have a small role, I think, as the grandfather of the teenager.
Yeah, that's what it says here.
I think so.
Yeah,
and so, this will be a gala presentation. Probably means it's going to be a little bit harder to see. It is the North American premiere. It is coming out first at Venice Film Festival. But hopefully I definitely won't be able to see the first showing of this, but hopefully I might be able to get to see the second or third. So I'll go through the other top 5. I'll quickly go down the 15 to 6. So My Policeman, we saw a trailer for that. That has Harry Styles and Emma Corrin. I very much don't think I'm gonna bother trying to see this too much. Like, it's based on a novel. I'm not expecting too much, and like I'm not against Harry Styles in any way. I do like As It Was, like pretty much half the planet. But I'm not the biggest fan of him. I don't think he's gonna like turn this movie into a truly must see, and neither do I think the director or writer will do that either. The Lost King with Sally Hawkins, directed by Stephen Frears, who's made movies like The Queen and Florence Foster Jenkins, where Meryl Streep plays a woman who can't sing. Seems like it's about a historian, so I don't know. This might be cute. I'm hoping it probably gets a wide enough release that I can maybe take my dad to see it, because it's just about a historian, and he's a history teacher, so he might find it cute. I don't know. This will be cute, probably. Triangle of Sadness by Ruben Ostlund. That won the Palme d'Or. I feel decently confident. I don't know. I might have to move this higher up on the list. I feel somewhat confident considering it won the Palme d'Or. And it got picked up by Neon, that it will get a wide enough release that it'll at least be like a TIFF Lightbox again in December, or at least before the Oscars, I'm thinking. But it also, I could also definitely easily see it being something that doesn't come out till February, and I could struggle to see it before like all the Oscar stuff, because I'm assuming this will be in the conversation after winning the Palme d'Or, but we'll have to see. Chevalier with directed by Stephen Williams, has Calvin Harrison Jr., an actor I'm very interested in. He's playing a black composer who apparently just really didn't get enough written, and excited about him. So I'm thinking that could be an interesting movie. Could be a potential actor contender at this point, considering if Calvin is amazing. Seems like a bait enough role, lots of costumes. And honestly, the actor race seems to be getting pretty weak, just from me overviewing it, because a bunch... Literally, with Killers of the Flower Moon, a ton of supporting actor, not having Leonardo DiCaprio, probably not having Coleman Domingo, because Rustin, I think, is getting delayed. And then Jesse Plemons and Robert De Niro dropping out of the supporting actor race. Both of those are becoming a lot less interesting. The Menu, I think this will definitely get a wide enough release. It had a trailer release in like June for a movie that's in November, so I think this is definitely something that's trying to get a horror crowd, because it seems like a weird horror food movie with Anya Taylor-Joy and Ray Fiennes and Nicholas Hoult. So it seems like a cool enough movie. I doubt I would bother enough to see it. Glass Onion, the Knives Out sequel. I'm pretty excited for this, but it's also coming to Netflix.
Oh, that's what it's called.
So yeah, that's
cool.
our Knives Out 2. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. So that will world premiere TIFF. I mean, it's coming to Netflix, so it's like I'm not too high up on trying to see this definitely at the festival, but also it'll probably be one of the most in-demand things, so I'm like, I'm not probably even going to try to bother. Broker with Horiyuki Koreeda. This got picked up by Neon, has Song Kang-ho in it. This won Best Actor at Cannes. He's a very interesting director. I liked the premise of the movie. It didn't get as good a critical response as one might expect. This thing will probably hang around as an international contender, at least to get nominated. But it also has to go up against Decision to Leave. But it might be something I want to see. The top 8, I think, is definitely my priority by far. I think that's like tier. I'd separate a tier there. Wendell and Wild from Henry Selick. This is also coming to Netflix and definitely in October. That was confirmed in a little teaser they had. So I'm like, it's only going to come out like a month probably after, or maybe a month and a half after it premieres at TIFF. So I'm like, I'm not too prioritizing this. This also has Jordan Peele starring and co-writing it with Selick and also Keegan-Michael Key, bringing the boys back together in what looks to be a pretty cool stop-motion adventure. One of 2 that Netflix is supposed to release this year, so it's cool that it's a TIFF. Again, it'll also probably be pretty in demand, so I don't know. May not end up seeing it. Empire of Light, directed by Sam Mendes with Colin Firth and Olivia Colman, shot by Roger Deakins. I mean, like, why would I not try to show up to this?
Yeah, of course.
And again, this is something is a little bit lower because I think this will definitely... I think it has a bigger budget, so we'll definitely get a wider release. So I probably... even though it does come out and doesn't come out till early December, I do have the feeling it will probably be not hard for me to see. So I'm not too worried about that. Decision to Leave. This one's weird because it got picked up by Mubi, which doesn't release stuff in Canada theatrically, I don't think. I don't know if it has a specific Canadian theatrical distributor yet. From Park Chan-wook, Korean director. He won Best Director at Cannes. Decision to Leave looks like another addition to his very acclaimed filmography. I mean, this is a guy who, like Denis Villeneuve, I guess, really doesn't miss and makes very good thriller, kind of human... It's not his movies aren't really action movies, but usually he ends up having 2 characters confronting each other. But a lot of it is also like psychological. And then Women Talking is from Sarah Polley, a Canadian director. This has a very, very promising looking cast. Frances McDormand, Claire Foy, Rooney Mara, and Jessie Buckley. It's an adaptation of a Canadian novel. This is the international premiere about a closeted world where women struggle with an epidemic of abuse. So I think they're playing Mennonites who are being taken advantage of, and they're basically talking to each other to figure out what the hell is going on. Because like the men are blaming it on demons and shit, and this is basically them coming together to say we're not buying it. I'm sure there's also sequences going back to see what actually happened. And then Ben Whishaw is also in that. Whishaw. He was Winshaw. Is it Winshaw?
Winshaw, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Winshaw.
Because he plays Paddington, and also
yes, he does.
Q in in the James Bond movie. We also got The Whale from Darren Aronofsky. I'm a pretty big Aronofsky fan, like even after like Mother.
Yeah.
This apparently, I think this will be a little bit calmer. Brendan Fraser, I like a lot of people like film Twitter's been hyping him up. He apparently gives a career-defining performance, which is pretty promising coming from the TIFF people. And
yeah, I mean, maybe he'll be the one who
gets best actor. He could easily win. Yeah, I don't know. I think people doubted it because it's like Aronofsky. It could be too weird. He has gotten someone a lead actor Oscar before, so it's definitely possible. Considering, if it's being described as an arrestingly intimate drama, I'm going to assume there's not going to be too much wild shit, and that Darren is just kind of, obviously it's still a little bit weird because he's a 700-pound something English professor who's like eating himself away in his apartment. But, like, if, struggling with personal relationships, self-acceptance, and adapted from a stage play, which got mediocre reviews, but I'm sure Darren is like, oh, I can elevate this shit, make it cinematic. Yeah. And so it has Sadie...
Dude, I feel like if he looked at the Bible, he would think he could elevate it, to be honest. I'm just saying.
I think he kind of did, but... He tried to with Mother, I'm pretty sure.
But, yeah, I mean, he tried to. I think whether he succeeded or not, that's one thing.
It also has Sadie Sink, who I'm excited to see in like a dramatic supporting role, and then Hong Chow, who I think I'm also excited to see in another dramatic supporting role. So that'll be cool. Oh yeah, this is maybe the top of my list, honestly, because also I think this is something that I have a decently low shot. I can never spell this thing. The Banshees of Inisherin, with written and directed by Martin McDonagh. I don't know how to. Has Brendan Gleeson, Colin Farrell, and Barry Keoghan, who I'm most excited for, even though I think he plays the smallest of the three leads.
So it's a bunch of Irish people then.
It is. It takes place on an Irish island, and apparently it's about the falling out of this friendship between Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell. I guess maybe Baron Keoghan is one of their sons, and one of them doesn't want to be friends with the other anymore. It's probably Colin Farrell who doesn't want to be friends with Brendan anymore because I don't know. That's just my guess. I don't know who's playing who, but. Martin McDonagh is a very talented writer-director. Definitely a more talented writer than he's a director, but I don't know, this seems like his thing. Again, I don't know. There's a lot of play-like adaptations, because while I don't think the Banshees of Inisherin, it might be based on an unfinished play, potentially, I heard. But a lot of these are like more play-like, with the women talking, like I'm assuming a bunch of it is going to be them in a room talking, even though I'm sure they're going to cut to the different things they're talking about. The Whale is based on a play. The Sun is based on Florian Zeller's own play. The Banshees of Inisherin, I imagine, will have a lot of more play-like set. So a lot of play stuff is in my most anticipated. And then The Fabelmans. I think this. I don't know. It's Steven Spielberg, and I don't know.
It's gonna be at least serviceable.
For sure. And like
he doesn't have too many bad movies.
I don't know. This could be his best. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. He's saving Private Ryan and Schindler's List and all sorts of legendary shit. But like
maybe his best film in a while.
Maybe that. Yeah. This could like obviously West Side Story had a lot of acclaim. This could have even more. And like I don't know. I am hopeful after West Side Story because I think he really like brought himself back to loving these human dramas, taking a step back from getting so invested in CGI, BFG, and Ready Player One shenanigans, and just focusing on taking a step back, working with Tony Kushner, a very talented screenwriter and playwright, and just looking at his own life. John Williams is doing the score. That's going to be great. Kaminsky is back as always. I'm just a big fan of his cinematography. Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Michelle Williams. I mean, great cast. So, like, I don't know. I really don't see how this could be bad. Again, like you said, it should be at least serviceable. And could honestly be one of his best films. And it's really cool that TIFF got to premiere this. So.
Hey, it's okay, Kai. It's okay. Sorry about that. My young dog is growling at my cat.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Let's get to the main
yeah,
attraction.
and then we can maybe look at Metacritic prediction. We can do that quick showdown rundown afterwards, perhaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the main stuff,
So
which
yeah, yeah.
is
Do you,
Nope.
yeah. Do you mind if I introduce it?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I guess. So, I mean, Nope is a 2022. It's not really a horror movie. Let's just go with thriller. I think thriller is a better way to describe it. Thriller movie from Jordan Peele with some sci-fi elements in there. Obviously, his trademark comedic style, juxtaposed with like horrific or tense situations. I quite like that. I quite like that. And it's kind of not new to his filmography. Let's feel like before we get into Nope, we should talk about some of his other films briefly. So, I mean, he came onto the scene with a bang with Get Out in
Yeah.
2017. I thought that was a really good movie. It was a pretty interesting analysis of, I guess, I don't know, like it was a good analysis on race relations in the United States, and it was
White
also just
liberalism.
yeah, no, people who pretend to be, politically correct when they're actually not. They have nefarious means. It was interesting how he did that, and it was surprisingly funny as well when it needed to be. It wasn't too funny, obviously, but
Yeah.
yeah, but there was a lot of really good stuff in that movie. Like especially like the most iconic part of that is just when Daniel Kaluuya's character Chris goes into the suck good place.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's something that I think is going to be remembered for a while because I mean, like people were making so many memes about that when it came out. That whole scene is quite iconic. And,
Mm-hmm.
that's a pretty good ending as well, but the ending could have been even darker. If you can believe that. I don't know if you
Yeah.
know about
No,
this, but
I've seen the alternate ending,
yeah,
which
yeah, I think
which makes sense, unfortunately.
yeah, that would have been a crazy way to end it. Like I don't mind it ending on a one-liner. That was pretty funny, but I feel like the depressing ending isn't too bad either. So yeah. But yeah, and then after that, 2 years later in 2019, he had Us, which I liked a little bit. It wasn't my favorite. I wasn't as engaged as I was with Get Out. I wasn't. I was sold on Lupita Nyong'o. I thought she was fantastic in that movie, but I thought the comedy didn't work as well this time around. I wasn't as impressed, but I did like the concept. I thought it was kind of cool. Like each person in the United States has like a code themselves that's just underground for whatever reason. Like they never explained that to us, which is fine. I don't mind the mystery element there. And I think that I don't know. I think that, like I said, Lupita Nyong'o was fantastic in that movie. Like, giving a dual performance like that must have been really challenging. I think, and like she makes them feel like two completely different people, which I think is really difficult to do. But she pulled it off quite effortlessly.
Yeah.
But anyways, and now we get into Nope, and I think this is much better than Us. I quite like that. I think the comedy is back to Get Out levels. I think it works pretty good this time around. Found myself laughing a few times in the theater, and I was also quite thrilled with a lot of what was going on. I even jumped like a couple times, especially when those fucking kids initially came in with like the alien masks. I actually thought that was giving the aliens. I was like, "Fuck, this is
Oh
crazy."
yeah.
And then
No, I for
and
sure
there's just
thought
kids.
that.
I was like, "Oh my god, I cannot believe I just fell for that." That was a good fake out. I really like that. But I also think one of the better parts about this movie is the twist. Spoiler alert! I'm going to say this before we go any
Okay,
further.
yeah.
So if you don't want to be spoiled, skip to some time code. Maybe Danny will put it on the screen. I don't know, but or maybe not because this whole review is going to be spoilers.
Yeah,
but
for
anyways,
sure.
I mean, spoiler alert, it's not a ship. It's actually like an alien creature, which I thought was quite crazy. I did not see that coming. I was hoping it was just going to be an alien ship and we'd get to see some little aliens in there, which was kind of cool that they subverted our expectations, but in a good way. I
Yeah.
mean, and I think that one scene where we see like all the patrons of Jupiter's Landing being digested by the monster is fucking crazy. Like that's pretty damn claustrophobic, man. And it's
Yeah.
pretty bleak. It's pretty fucking bleak what's happening there. And yeah, but one thing I was sort of confused about, like it was a chilling sequence. Don't get me wrong, but the whole chimpanzee goes rampage on a rampage on the TV set. I didn't quite understand its inclusion in there.
Yeah.
Like it only really delivers some backstory to Stephen Yeun's character, but other than that, I didn't really understand what all that was about. To be honest, like, do you know why he put that in there? I mean,
My take is that Stephen Yeun is actually the main character of this thing, and let me give you my quick rundown. I actually wrote like a pretty long review for this whole thing, but basically, one of the reasons why this whole thing happens to the Haywoods is because Stephen Yeun, because of this random incident. So I'm just gonna say the monkey and the ship, and the animal ship, Jean Jacket, as he's nicknamed by the Haywoods, is they don't connect. There's no connection there. But what the monkey I think establishes is that, sometimes there are animals that shouldn't be tamed. And so when this balloon pops and it kind of causes Gordy, the chimp, to pop off, as it were, it shows, like it establishes like an animal that clearly, is being used for like a spectacle, as like, in the way, in that, I don't know if you remember the opening, like there's a Bible verse to open this movie, and even though, I don't know, not a very Christian movie, but, well, I mean, it doesn't mention miracles, but the concept is literally, what's a bad miracle? Which there are in the Bible, if I'm being honest. It's Nahum 3:6, which says, "I will pelt you with filth and treat you with contempt. I will make a spectacle of you," which is what I think, and part of this, I think this is part of the commentary of the film, is that a lot of animals are kind of mistreated by being used as, filming objects. And, like, while obviously it's like the Haywoods aren't necessarily, like, while they technically do that, they're not, like, aggressive about it. And, like, horses are a little more, they make more sense as far as their intellect level and how they can survive, like, thrive naturally. For a monkey, a chimpanzee, though, that's clearly not the case. And, like, they've been using him this entire time for, this entertainment. You can't imagine if something like this were to happen, because there's obviously a lot of stories about when, an animal turns against the trainers or the tamers. It's because they're probably being mistreated. And so one could assume that that was happening to Gordy. So he's being treated with contempt, kind of being thrown at filth, and then he takes revenge. But what Stephen Yeun's character Ricky gets out of it is because he believes he's still able to tame him because he
extended his fist, right?
Yeah, because of the fist. That part of his, like, training to be a spectacle, to be on the show, to create that fist bump on the show will still be good enough, to potentially, like, get along with him. Obviously, that doesn't resolve itself, but then, like any artist who's trying to make money, he tries to turn that into art and entertainment, and uses the story in the room to make more money for himself. And then he stumbles across Mr. Jean Jacket, our UFO friend, and finds that he is hungry, that he will eat horses. So then he takes advantage of the Haywoods, who, under the very same unfortunate circumstance, which I don't know, this is a very impressive screenplay to me, just at least in how the story works out, because I think Jordan Peele spent a lot of time connecting these dots very well in a way that feels natural. But because of the death of their dad, they have to sell the horses. So then Ricky uses those horses to basically feed and gain a trust with Jean Jacket. But of course, because of that, then to try to, seeing that now that the Haywoods have witnessed him, they put out the horse trainer that they steal from Ricky, because, I don't know, they do have a little bit of a rivalry. I think it's not very fleshed out, but I think Emerald specifically feels maybe a little offended that, and I think OJ does to some extent, that Steven would offer to buy. Because when you offer to buy the ranch, you're basically saying, oh, you're kind of struggling, let me take over, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, even though obviously they have a lot of pride in it. If they didn't, they would have just sold it because, you know, but it's their father's legacy. As he says, you know, he's changed the industry, allowing, you know, like black horse trainers and I guess black people in general to be more a part of the filmmaking process.
Yeah.
And so they set up the horse trainer that has the flags that screws up with Jean Jacket, and so then he becomes untrustful of of what he deems his territory. He feels that he's being like there's predators around him, so then he goes ahead and gets aggressive and swallows up Ricky and all of his people. After Ricky thought that he was fine to just have Jean Jacket come out to entertain people. But then also, what was important there, I think was important, is that he just didn't want to, he was continuing to try to use it for his own personal gain specifically. He wasn't trying to, like, let anyone else to, like, simply take a video of it and let it be shared online.
He wanted the glory all to himself,
Yeah. So,
it's definitely interesting, that's for sure.
All of that, I think that's very much. I think that's the part of this movie that is what Jordan Peele is talking about in returns of spectacle, of personal entertainment and art, and how that relates to just the realisms around you of, I guess, how sometimes the animal kingdom works, and the realities of that. So I think that's why the monkey stuff is in there.
You know what? I think I think you're probably right. That does sound pretty good.
I mean, that's my take, but
no, I agree with that. I agree with that take. That's a solid take, my friend. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that way, but
I know it took me to watch. I watched this movie twice. I don't know if I think I.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, fair enough.
So it took me a little bit to get to that conclusion, but the first time I was so freaking. I honestly, the first time I walked out of this movie, I really did. I had zero clue what to think of this movie. Then the second time, I just kind of watched. It's just Jaws, if I'm being honest, but it's a UFO monster. In my opinion, like I hadn't even seen Jaws, but that's just basically. I think that's a lot of what the movie is.
I mean, it's kind of like that, except in Jaws they wanted to kill the shark, and this they want to just capture it on film.
And but they do end up
capture a picture of it.
Yeah, and they do pretty much kill it with the Mr. Jupe inflatable.
Yeah, that was
at least
crazy.
Definitely screw him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a very good movie.
No, I think so too. I think especially the sound design, like the way that you hear like the horses cry out in the night while they're being digested, and then all those people afterwards. I think that was just pretty it was pretty chilling. Like the first time I heard that sound, and then you just see it quickly dart by like through the clouds, I thought, oh my god, this is fucking crazy. Like Jesus, like I was like invested. Like it completely like hooks you into the world. To be honest, like without that, like I wouldn't have really seen. I think it really like helps elevate this thing as a true threat. You know? Like just that ghostly call out. You know, it's awful.
Yeah, and I mean,
really awful.
This sound designer has very interesting. He's worked with Yorgos Lanthimos, which that makes sense. Honestly, he's worked on Under the Skin, which again, Vic's like that as a music and sound designer editor, like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then he also worked on Waves, so like all of that just makes sense because I think all of those use sound pretty effectively. Even Ammonite, which he also worked on, uses it pretty effectively at points.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what's most impressive to me about this is that if you just watch it plainly, it's just like it's a Jaws. It's a good directed monster movie. Like Jordan Peele clearly, like at this point in his career, he definitely knows what he's doing. He's built that filmmaker status around him. He is now, up there with your Christopher Nolans, with I guess arguably in some cases your Greta Gerwigs, your I don't know. The list is few and far between these days. For I guess Tom Cruise, for like directors and actors who by their name alone will get people in seats, and I am very glad that's the case, and that he's getting working with a lot of talented people. Like,
No, same.
Hoyt
Keke Palmer for one.
Yeah.
I think it's someone I didn't expect to be. I didn't expect to like her as much as I did, because in the trailer she's a bit annoying, but I think she was probably one of the better things about this movie. That's for sure. I liked her character a lot more than Daniel Kaluuya's, and that's not to say his character was bad. I just think it was more of a subdued performance. That's what he was going for.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's who his character is, and I like the energy that Kiki brought to this film. Like, it really,
for
she
sure.
definitely had some of the best lines in the movie. They were pretty funny.
And watching it the second time, it definitely makes a good sibling dynamic. Like, I thought, honestly, I still maybe think it's a weaker Daniel Kaluuya performance, but it's, like, not really wrong. Actually, it's not worse than his Black Panther one, probably. But
yeah, that's because he was wasted there, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah,
he didn't get
to do anything. Yeah. In this one, it's like, yeah, he plays it very well. He plays a very reserved character, and knowing the premise of the movie, like, his reaction to, like, the horse jumping made more sense. Like, for some reason, I just thought sometimes he seemed like a sociopath, but really, I think, one, he's kind of in mourning because of the loss of his dad, and two, he, again, is a reserved character who, like, when, like, he sees the horse jumping over the fence, he's not too surprised because of the loud music. Because I thought my reaction would be, the first time was like, why isn't he, like, completely surprised by that? Like, why is the horse jumping? Why isn't he asking himself that kind of thing? Like, because I thought it was being caused by the presence of the UFO, which is the reason they end up running most of the time. But I think initially it's because of the loud noise from the music that she's playing, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, the character worked a lot better for me the second time around. But again,
no, that's definitely for sure. I think especially when he's just like, I love when he says the title of the movie like twice. I think both times, like, it's not really, I know it's a repeat of the same joke, but I think both times landed pretty good for me.
Yeah.
Like, the first time he says nope when those kids are in the horse shit, I was like, fuck that. I was laughing my ass off. So that was pretty funny. And then when he just opens up the door, quickly looks up, he sees jean jackets there, and he just closes it, locks the door, and is like, nope.
Yeah, I like that one better funny. For sure. I think that's a I still think Steven Yeun is a god. I think he cannot do it.
I quite liked his performance. I mean, like,
he was great.
Screen time he brought some great energy to the role.
I thought he was just freaking perfect. I think he played that character almost perfectly.
Like the snake oil salesman type guy.
Yeah, like, you know, he's a guy. He's like, you know, he clearly has some talent. He's definitely not the most charismatic or talented person in the world in that character, as, like, you know, a guy who was kind of a child star is now has his own reality show. Like, you can see it just in his big speech introducing the Star Lasso experience. Like he has some abilities, like when he's, like, getting them hyped about, like, are you ready for, you know, the whole thing. Like, he has, like, obviously he's doing it. And while he has some, like, energy there, it's not like, he's not nearly as energetic as, like, a great showman would be. But then, I don't know. I think, and then, like, the way he talks about his reactions to everything, and the way he talks, it's like, I think this, and I'm so glad, I think he's playing a role that would normally be given to a white man, and it almost was, I'm pretty sure, because I think Jordan Peele first asked Jesse Plemons to play this role, but
he wouldn't have been too bad either, but
which makes sense. But I'm glad Steven Yeun got to play an Asian cowboy, because we need more of those in the world, and, like, it makes sense. It's also, like, while it's maybe not the most realistic thing, it's cool to see kind of a Asian tween in a fake sitcom from the late 90s.
It was interesting, that's for sure.
Which is nice. And it's a unique character for him, and I'm like, the first time I was just always so glad that he was on screen. I was like, I'm so glad we have an Asian cowboy who's also kind of while he's not, like, necessarily a bad guy, he also is, like, you know,
he's a bit slimy.
Little sly.
I mean, he's been, you know, taking advantage of a desperate group of people and then just feeding their horses to an alien, which is crazy. I mean,
but
it's pretty
I don't know. This just continues to prove that if Steven Yeun is in a movie, I will be there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I should just watch The Walking Dead because I'm probably gonna just watch it just for him. And when he dies, I will instantly just stop watching.
Yep, there you go. There you go. That's quite a way to do it. But anyways, shall we get into a score for this film?
Yeah. I also would like to say that Hoyt van Hoytema, like, that's another thing, is that Jordan Peele, I don't even know who the first...
That's the cinematographer, isn't it?
Yeah, for this movie. I don't even remember who...
Okay,
his cinematographer for the first one was actually two people. It was Denson Baker and Toby Oliver, who...
Yeah.
I mean, the latter's only worked on some of the worst Blumhouse projects other than Get Out. But yeah, like, he is leveled up in that reserve, having a bigger budget to, I'm guessing, probably, because I'm sure these guys demand a higher pay grade, so he's able to actually pay them the money they deserve. Because, I mean, Hoyt van Hoytema, definitely one of our most talented cinematographers today, doing stuff like Ad Astra, Nope, Her, Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Tenet, like we're seeing with Christopher Nolan. He's gonna shoot. He shot Oppenheimer. I mean, man, the guy just brings a great look and lights stuff so well.
No, I mean it really did look great. I think especially when like Jean Jacket comes over the house and just ejects all the blood and keys and all that other shit. It was quite something.
Great, yeah. Feels like there's no way you just can't think of The Shining in a scene with that much blood, and I guess it makes more sense why he had kind of that very Shining-like intro to the trailer with the house. It makes more sense now. That was a good play, also with the with the scrolling text, and that makes a lot more sense now. Like, while this isn't like there aren't that many locations in this movie. There's the ranch, there's the theme park,
some strip mall.
There's a couple studios, the strip mall, the electronics store. There isn't that many, which honestly I think that goes on my list of some of the best shooting they've done in a store, because I think honestly that scene looks great considering it's literally in a boring department store. I also think the score is just pretty good. Like, it's not as memorable, I think, as the stuff that Abels has done for both Get Out and Us, but it's like a grandeur kind of like almost Marvel-like score, but it's done pretty well. And I liked it. It was enjoyable. And again, like you said,
sound for sure.
The sound works really well. They did a good job with the sound design for Jean Jack and for the horses and everything. So that was all put together well. So yeah, very well made movie. With some other interesting stuff.
Of course. Just one more thing before we get into a score, I just wanted to quickly mention. It was kind of funny how he put TMZ in there, just get murdered. He must not like TMZ. It's funny how that works. I mean, not that it wasn't deserved. I mean, TMZ's a bit of a slimy company. They make their lives off of exploiting people's miserable times, to be honest. Well, I mean, maybe that was his way of, I don't know, giving the middle finger to them or something. I don't know why, because, I mean, like, from what I can tell, he hasn't really had any run-ins with TMZ, so...
Yeah, but...
maybe just for shits and giggles, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways.
But anyways, score time. What would you give this? Interesting place.
I think I'd give this 8 out of 10. I don't know. I think it's competing for my favorite Peele film. I definitely liked it better than Us.
Too. I liked it better than this too,
But, like, I don't know if I like this better. I think I'd want to watch Get Out again. But honestly, like, he's just upgraded so much in the directional department, in my opinion. And all of his technical stuff is just so much better. It's like a singular vision that has come together so well. And again, his cast is still great. And the story, I think, is so smartly written. It has a lot of cool themes. And while it's maybe not the most mind-blowing, like, and maybe it's even too subtle some ways, and, like, more of a thinker if you want the themes, but it's just a really good, like a Jaws, like a monster, like, scary movie kind of thing, but also still has that sci-fi and that comedy well put. I guess that's I'll be honest, I didn't find it too funny, but like it's pretty close to Get Out for me. I don't know. I have Get Out as a 7, So technically, I have Nope as an 8. So right now, I think it
maybe
is.
maybe it's recency bias. Maybe I'll have to
Maybe
watch,
I have watched it
yeah.
twice. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to see Get Out again. But I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. I think the direction is probably just almost can't be compared. And while I think maybe Get Out has the better screenplay overall,
Mm.
I do think maybe it like in some ways I think there's some parts about the story I think that Nope has maybe done better, and so I
No,
think
I
it
would
deserves a lot of
have
credit
to
for
agree
that.
with you there. Yeah, I mean, like I think everything's just great that happens with the bigger budget, and I'm glad that Jordan Peele's finally getting that, and I think it's quite something that. I mean, when I think of Jordan Peele now, I don't just think of Key and Peele or like Mad TV. I think of like these horror, thriller, comedy movies, which I think is exactly what he wanted to do. He really wanted to do something different after departing from sketch comedy, And yeah, I mean, I would have to agree with your score. I'm also going to give it an 8. I can't remember what I don't even know what I would give Get Out. I have to see it again. I haven't seen it since 2018. Yeah, 2018. That's right. Yeah, I saw it quite a while ago. But I'll have to watch that one more
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
But
I think Get Out
yeah.
was one of the first films I saw when I was getting into film after the pandemic.
Mm,
I'm trying to. I don't know what I even. I don't know if I even reviewed it at all. I did. I just gave it a rating. So I
yeah.
really had no idea what I was thinking. So I think I do need to see it again. But
Yeah.
yeah, good
Yeah.
movie.
Good movie. Nope.
All right. So I guess we can quickly discuss what we want to talk about next
Week.
week.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. On Friday, I think we have a couple of streaming releases. 'Cause I know 13 Lives is coming to Prime Video, I believe, on the 5th. That's the Ron Howard movie about the Thai boys soccer team.
Yeah, that's right.
It has. It was originally thought to potentially be an Oscar contender. I think only if the IMDb score for this just skyrockets when it comes out. I think, which is this Friday. So I think that'd be a solid one to do. And I mean, if you have enough time, we also could do the documentary. That is the documentary of the actual event.
Yeah.
Which is The Rescue. So we could do those. It apparently is a 8.4 on IMDb right now, which is
Really?
pretty good. I mean, it has like a
Oh, that's pretty
60
good.
something, low 60 on Metacritic, so it's not the most critically acclaimed thing, but I don't think Ron Howard's going to have a very critically acclaimed movie until he just goes complete art house on him
Yeah.
again, which I don't think may ever happen again, or ever has happened, really. He's not really an art house guy.
A mainstream drama type guy, that's for sure. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I would be interested in doing that. I think.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what else is coming out though, because maybe just in case, like
Yeah.
maybe something else we could check out.
It
Hey,
is
let me check what's coming on Netflix. Hold on.
2.5 hours,
Oh yeah, sheesh.
which
That's pretty.
is a little,
That
definitely a little longer
that-
than I would have thought.
that is a
That
bit
also
long,
makes
consi-
sense,
Yeah.
I guess, for.
Oh, well, have you
Howard.
seen The Gray Man yet? Have you seen The Gray Man?
No,
I mean, it's okay. I
I
don't know if
don't
you
want
want
to.
to.
I don't really
Yeah, it's
want to,
fine.
if I'm being honest.
There's another 365 days coming? Are you kidding me? The next 365 days. It's the third one. That's fucking crazy, man. Jesus. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about that. It just caught me off guard, man. Like,
that's
what the hell?
okay. That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there is one that we could talk about a little bit down the line. Not quite yet, but it's coming. Let's see. August 12th. It's called The Day Shift. It's about like vampire hunters in Los Angeles. I don't know. It looks interesting. Maybe it'll be okay. The action looks all right at the very least. So it's a possibility. I just hope it's not like average.
Yeah.
But I think that would be kind of painful considering it has a pretty interesting premise. But I guess it could be fun. We could maybe tackle that in a couple weeks. But I'm okay with doing your suggestion for this week. Though I'll have to try and make some time to watch it because that's quite a long a long
Yeah.
thing to do
Yeah.
while I have work, but I'll find a way. I'll find a
Yeah.
way to do it.
No, for sure.
Hmm.
I don't know. I've seen The Rescue, so I think I can at least confidently talk about that. So at least when you talk, if I don't end up seeing it and you see it, I will at least be able to confidently talk about what happened because I have seen the documentary. So, and
All right. Well, great.
again,
Sounds good then.
yeah, I'll try to see it as well.
Yeah, no, of course.
Bullet Train also comes out this weekend.
Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah, yeah.
So
I promised my mom I'd go see it with her when she comes back from seeing her mom. So
which is when?
Yeah, she's leaving this Thursday.
Okay, so
yeah,
you might be able to see it somewhat soon. Yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna end up. I'm probably gonna end up seeing this at least once. Probably not in IMAX. I'm not paying IMAX for this. It's the director of Deadpool 2. But
I don't know, man. It could be fun, to be honest. Plus, I mean,
yeah,
I might not be paying if my mom's gonna take me to see it. So,
true.
we'll see.
Like,
I don't know if I'll be doing VIP again for a while, man. I will say this: the food was extremely mid this time around. It's kind of soured me a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
too bad.
I'm there for the cast in a lot of ways, so it's like I'm not there for like the visuals as much. So it's like, I mean, Zazie Beetz, Brian Tyree Henry, Joey King, Karen Fukunaga, Brad Pitt.
Pretty sure it's Fukuhara. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Fukuhara, I mean, I watched
The
Boys. I watched The Boys, so I'm pretty familiar with her, right? So.
Yeah. I mean, I also watched The Boys. I just.
Oh, you do? Oh shit, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, we should talk. Maybe we should talk about that sometime.
I think we did. Did we not? I feel like we did.
We briefly touched on it a couple times, but we haven't really done like an in-depth like kind of discussion about it. So maybe we can do it sometime.
It also has Aaron Taylor Johnson, Sandra Bullock, Bad Bunny, Logan Lerman. I don't know. This is a pretty.
Michael Shannon as well. Don't forget about that.
Also, only is the 57% of Rotten Tomatoes, so maybe I won't see it. I don't know.
57%?
Yeah,
it was higher. It was higher the last time I checked.
I mean, that's not great, but are almost enough to keep things from going after the story runs out of track. I don't know who writes these critic consensuses for.
That's a good question. I've always wondered that.
For Rotten Tomatoes.
But, yeah. But anyways, I'm about to have some dinner now, so I gotta jet off. But thank you, boys, girls, and non-binary folk. We appreciate your support as always. Check out our previous videos if you want some more excellent discussions between the two of us. And comment down below if you want us to do a Patreon. There you go, because we've been discussing that. Yeah. Maybe down the line. We'll see. But anyways, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Take it easy.
All right.
All right.